Captain Elias Mercer walked through the bustling streets of the Therian trade hub, his boots tapping against the metal flooring. The city was alive with motion. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered in the sky above, landing pads thrumming with the sound of engines. Alien merchants shouted over the din, selling spices, crystals, and strange technological devices. The air was heavy with the scent of ionized metal, exotic foods, and the faint tang of ozone from hovering vehicles. Elias, a human from Earth, had seen many such trade hubs across the galaxy. But there was something different about Therian. Perhaps it was the mixture of old architecture and new technology. Or maybe it was the feeling of history in every corner. He had come here not for trade, but for rest and a brief reprieve from the endless duties of fleet command. After decades of fighting and wars that spanned star systems, he was seeking a place where the past might feel distant. Yet, as he walked, something caught his eye. Among the crowd of aliens, his gaze settled on a tall figure, standing near the edge of a marketplace. She was striking, unlike any alien he had seen before. Her skin shimmered with a soft metallic hue, her eyes were deep violet, and her presence carried a quiet strength that seemed to draw attention without demanding it. She was watching him, and not with the curiosity of a stranger, but with recognition. Elias slowed, instinctively aware that this encounter was not ordinary. He scanned his memory, trying to place the feeling. It was familiar yet distant, like a dream half-remembered. The alien took a step closer, and her eyes never left his. Then, in perfect galactic standard, she spoke, her voice calm but carrying weight. "Captain Elias Mercer," she said, her tone both questioning and certain. "Do you remember me?" Elias stopped in his tracks, his mind racing. I don't think he began. But she raised a hand gently as if to pause him. "Long ago in the Battle of Therian," she continued, "you saved me." A jolt of memory struck him. Therian. The war. A mission that had been over before most even knew it had begun. He remembered the chaos, the fire, the screaming. And then through it all, a wounded alien officer, bleeding and barely conscious, trapped beneath debris. He had risked his own life to pull her out, hiding her from enemy fire, dragging her to safety. At the time, it had seemed like just another duty. Another life saved, another mission accomplished. You're the officer I saved," Elias said slowly, his voice tinged with awe and disbelief. He looked at her, really looked, and recognition dawned fully. The memory of that battle, of the fear and the adrenaline, of the moment he had made a choice without thinking, was now standing in front of him. Alive. Serena, for that was her name, nodded. Her gaze softened, and she gave a small smile, one that carried years of unspoken gratitude. "Yes," she said simply. "And I have never forgotten what you did for me." That moment, it changed everything. Elias felt a strange mix of humility and curiosity. "Changed everything?" he asked. "I didn't do anything special. I just did what any soldier should do." "You did more than that," Serena said, stepping closer. "You risked your life for someone you didn't know. That choice, it influenced the future of my people, my career, and even the survival of our species during the war. I was able to continue my mission because of you. Many lives were saved because you acted without hesitation." Elias nodded slowly, taking in her words. He had always believed in duty, in doing the right thing even when the odds were against him. He had never imagined that a single act could have consequences so far-reaching. And now, decades later, it was all coming back to him in this quiet corner of a bustling trade hub. They walked together through the crowded streets, Elias listening as Serena recounted her journey. After the war, she had risen quickly through the ranks of the Veyari, a species known for their intelligence, discipline, and strong sense of honor. She had been assigned to diplomatic missions, defense planning, and even strategic alliances with other species. Yet, despite her accomplishments, she admitted that the memory of that day on Therion had always remained with her. "You saved my life," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "And because of that, I have had the chance to serve my people, to help rebuild what was lost, to protect others. I never got the opportunity to thank you properly, until now." Elias glanced at her, feeling a warmth he hadn't expected. For all the battles he had fought, all the planets he had defended, no medal or recognition had ever felt like this. This was personal. This was meaningful. As they reached a quieter section of the hub, Zarina paused and looked at him seriously. "I need your help," she said. "My people are in danger again. Not from an external war, but from a rogue faction that seeks to control vital resources. If they succeed, countless lives will be at risk." Elias felt the familiar spark of duty ignite within him. Even though he was technically retired, even though the war seemed behind him, he could not ignore a call for help when lives hung in the balance. "Tell me more," he said. "I'll do what I can." Zarina explained that the rogue faction had seized control of a planet rich in energy reserves, a power source critical to the Veyari and several allied planets. Without access to this energy, colonies would face shortages, defenses would weaken, and conflicts could erupt. She needed someone with battlefield experience, someone who could think on their feet under pressure, someone human. Elias listened carefully, assessing the situation in his mind. He had faced worse odds before, and he knew that a careful plan, quick thinking, and courage could make the difference. "We'll need a team," he said finally, "and we'll need to move fast. Time isn't on our side." Zarina nodded, relief showing briefly in her eyes. "I've already begun assembling a group," she said. "But your leadership, your perspective, it could make the mission possible." As they walked toward her ship, Elias marveled at the technology. Sleek, efficient, and advanced, the Veyari ships were unlike anything human engineers had developed. Yet despite the alien technology, Elias noticed similarities. Human ingenuity was mirrored in their designs. A shared logic, a shared understanding of problem-solving across species, seemed to bridge the gap between them. During the journey to the ship, Zarina shared more personal details. She spoke of her people, their culture, and the values instilled in them from birth: honor, courage, and the protection of life. Elias shared stories from Earth and his military career, and despite the differences between their worlds, he found common ground. Both had faced unimaginable challenges. Both had seen destruction and loss, and both had made choices that could change the fate of many. By the time they reached the docking bay, Elias felt a connection stronger than friendship. It was a bond forged by a shared history, respect, and a recognition of what humans and aliens could achieve together. Zarina's gaze lingered on him, and he realized that this meeting was not just about the past. It was the beginning of something that could change the future. As he stepped onto the ship, Elias felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had been a soldier many times over, but now he was more than a fighter. He was a protector, a strategist, and perhaps a bridge between two species. And as Zarina activated the ship's engines, the city lights of Therian Trade Hub fading behind them, he knew that the choices he would make in the coming days could save countless lives, or cost them all. Elias looked at Zarina, ready to face whatever lay ahead. "Let's make sure no one else suffers," he said quietly. Zarina nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "Together," she said. And in that moment, both human and alien understood that the past had prepared them for this mission, and that their partnership, born from an act of courage long ago, would define the battles to come. As the ship lifted into space, the stars stretched endlessly ahead. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown dangers and opportunities, but Elias felt a quiet confidence. Humanity had a way of enduring, adapting, and inspiring, and with allies like Zarina, he knew that even in the darkest times, hope could shine brightly. The adventure was only beginning. The ship glided through the star-streaked void, a sleek combination of Veyari engineering and human ingenuity. Elias Mercer stood at the observation deck, arms crossed, staring at the galaxy stretching endlessly before them. Zarina stood beside him, her violet eyes reflecting the distant light of 1,000 stars. Both were quiet for a moment, letting the hum of the ship's engines fill the silence. Finally, Zarina spoke. "The planet is called Carrion Prime. The rogue faction controls the energy reserves there. They've fortified the surface, set up defenses that even our scouts could barely penetrate. If they succeed, the energy shortage will cripple entire sectors, not just my people's colonies." Elias nodded slowly. "We'll need more than firepower. This will require strategy, improvisation, and precision. It won't be a straightforward battle." Zarina looked at him thoughtfully. "You're right. That's why I came to you. Humans, you think differently. You improvise, adapt, and act even when the odds seem impossible. That kind of thinking saved me once. I hope it can save many more this time." Elias felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. He had fought countless battles, led teams across multiple star systems, and faced impossible odds before. Yet something about this mission felt different. The stakes were not just about winning a battle. They were about protecting lives, alliances, and the fragile peace of the galaxy. First, Elias said, we need intelligence. What do we know about their defenses? Zarina tapped a few controls, bringing up a holographic map of Carrion Prime. Red symbols marked fortified areas, defensive turrets, and patrol routes. Blue symbols marked neutral zones and possible infiltration paths. They have automated defense grids, she explained. Energy shields, drones, rapid response units. They are expecting a direct attack, so anything obvious will be met with firepower. That's why a frontal assault would fail. We need precision, timing, and distraction. Elias studied the map. We'll need to split the team, he said, pointing to several key positions. One group to disable the shields, another to infiltrate their command center, and a small strike team to create a diversion. We hit multiple points at once, confuse them, and take control before they can respond. Zarina nodded. I can lead the infiltration. You handle the strike and diversion teams. Our engineers will work with your tactics to bypass security systems. Over the next hours, the crew of the ship prepared for the mission. Elias trained with the human and Veyari soldiers, reviewing strategies, running simulations, and adapting to the alien technology. It was challenging at first. The Veyari devices were unfamiliar, but Elias had always excelled in learning quickly under pressure. His experience, combined with his natural problem-solving skills, allowed him to understand the systems in a way that surprised even the Veyari engineers. By the time they approached Carrion Prime, the team was ready. The planet loomed below them, a swirling mixture of blue and green continents under a pale yellow sky. The energy reserves were located on the largest continent, surrounded by jagged mountains and defended by automated turrets visible even from orbit. Remember, Elias said to the team, we're not here just to fight. We're here to protect lives. Every move counts. Stay focused, stay flexible, and trust each other. Zarina stood beside him, her expression calm but determined. We'll succeed, she said. We must. The ship descended into the atmosphere, cutting through clouds as the team prepared to land. A small shuttle separated from the main ship, carrying Elias, Zarina, and the strike team toward a remote landing zone near the edge of the energy facility. The ground rushed closer, and Elias felt the familiar adrenaline of an impending mission. As they touched down, Elias scanned the area. Drones hovered nearby, their sensors sweeping the landscape. The team moved silently, using natural cover and technological cloaking devices to avoid detection. Elias led the way, observing patrol patterns, predicting movements, and signaling the team with hand gestures. This way, he whispered, pointing toward a narrow canyon that led closer to the facility. The drones won't follow this path. It's risky, but it's our best chance. The team followed, moving carefully and efficiently. Zarina and her engineers prepared hacking tools to disable security systems once they reached the perimeter. Elias checked every corner, every shadow, ensuring no detail was overlooked. Suddenly, a drone swept across the canyon, its sensors glowing red. Elias froze, calculating the timing. Wait, he whispered, pressing the team against the rock face. The drone passed without noticing them. Elias exhaled slowly, a quiet smile forming on his face. The team advanced, hearts pounding but disciplined. Finally, they reached the outer defenses. Automated turrets rotated methodically, scanning for intruders. Elias studied their patterns, noting blind spots and response delays. Zarina now, he whispered. She activated a device that emitted a pulse, temporarily disabling the turrets. The team moved in, silent and precise. Inside the facility, Zarina led the way through narrow corridors, avoiding patrols and security cameras. Elias marveled at her agility and confidence. The same alien he had saved years ago was now a leader, courageous and smart, guiding her people's future with every step. They reached the control room. Zarina's engineers quickly worked to hack into the main system, disabling security grids and energy shields. Elias stationed the strike team outside the command center, ready to intercept any unexpected threats. Suddenly, alarms blared. A patrol had spotted movement near the perimeter. Elias reacted instantly, signaling his team to create a diversion. Explosions rocked the surrounding area, drawing the rogue faction's attention away from the command center. Elias led a small strike unit, engaging enemy forces with precision using human tactics that combined speed, strategy, and calculated risks. Zarina, undeterred, completed the hack. The shields went down, and the energy reserves were now accessible. Elias and his team returned to her side, securing the area and ensuring the rogue faction could not regain control. After what felt like hours, the mission was complete. The energy reserves were safe, the rogue faction neutralized, and the Veeri colony secured. Elias and Zarina stood side by side surveying the facility. Exhausted but victorious, they shared a quiet moment of relief. "You did it," Zarina said softly, looking at Elias with admiration. "Your leadership, your thinking, it saved us all." Elias shook his head, smiling faintly. "We did it together. Humans and Veeri side by side. That's what makes the difference." As they prepared to leave Carrion Prime, Elias reflected on the mission. It had tested every skill he had, every lesson he had learned from years of service. But more importantly, it had reminded him why humans could achieve great things. Not just through strength or technology, but through courage, ingenuity, and a willingness to risk everything for others. Zarina looked at him, her violet eyes thoughtful. "I will never forget this day, just as I never forgot the day you saved me on Therion. Humanity, you inspire more than you realize." Elias nodded, humbled. He had always believed in duty, in doing what was right without expecting recognition. But now he saw the ripple effects of those choices, across galaxies and species. As the ship lifted off Carrion Prime, leaving the facility and the rogue faction behind, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but he knew that wherever courage, strategy, and compassion met, hope would endure. And somewhere among the stars, he knew that his bond with Zarina, born in the fire of war and strengthened by mutual respect, would continue to shape the future, one mission at a time. The skies above Therion II were a chaotic dance of light and motion. Rogue faction ships swarmed the atmosphere, their weapons glowing red as they prepared to defend the planet's vital energy reserves. From orbit, Captain Elias Mercer studied the battlefield with a calm intensity. Every maneuver, every opening had to be precise. One mistake could mean failure and countless lives at risk. Zarina stood beside him, scanning the holographic displays. "They've reinforced the outer perimeter," she said, her voice steady. "Automated turrets, patrol drones, energy shields. They expect a frontal attack. We cannot just charge in." Elias nodded. "Then we won't. Humans don't fight like that when strategy can win the day. We'll divide their attention and strike where they least expect us." The team split into 3 units. Elias led the strike team, tasked with creating a diversion and drawing enemy forces away from the central facility. Zarina led the infiltration team, moving stealthily to disable the main defenses and access the energy core. A 3rd unit composed of engineers and specialists, prepared to secure critical systems and prevent sabotage. Elias's team descended to the planet's surface, skimming over rocky terrain to avoid detection. The rogue faction's drones patrolled methodically, scanning for intruders. But Elias's human instincts guided the team through blind spots and shadows. He had learned over decades that observation and timing could turn the tide of any battle. "This way," Elias whispered, pointing to a narrow ravine. "The drones won't follow here. It's risky, but it's our best chance to get close without being detected." The team moved silently, every step measured. Explosions in the distance indicated that Zarina's infiltration team had already engaged the enemy, drawing attention away from Elias's route. It was a delicate balance of distraction and precision, something humans excelled at when logic and courage combined. As they approached the enemy's forward position, automated turrets rotated, scanning for movement. Elias crouched behind a boulder, analyzing their patterns. "Wait for the rotation," he instructed. "On my signal, we move." The team obeyed, holding their breath as the turret's energy beams swept past them. When the timing was perfect, Elias led the charge, sprinting across the open ground with the team following close behind. Blaster fire erupted, but the diversion had done its job. The majority of the enemy's attention was on Zarina's infiltration team. Elias ducked behind cover, signaling his team to advance. Every movement was calculated, every shot precise. They were humans in an alien battlefield, relying not just on strength but on ingenuity and quick thinking. Drones exploded in sparks, automated systems malfunctioned under unexpected tactics, and enemy soldiers struggled to respond to the unpredictable assault. Meanwhile, Zarina and her team moved deeper into the facility. The corridors were narrow and heavily guarded, but Zarina's experience and leadership guided them silently. Her engineers worked quickly to bypass security systems, disabling energy shields and cutting off communications. Elias's diversion gave them the time they needed. Suddenly, an enemy patrol appeared in a side corridor. Zarina acted without hesitation, signaling her team to take cover. Using energy-based tools, they disabled the patrol quietly, ensuring that no alarms were triggered. Every moment counted. One mistake could undo all their efforts. Back outside, Elias's team faced heavier resistance than expected. Reinforcements arrived from the rogue faction, attempting to flank the humans and cut off their retreat. Elias quickly adapted, using terrain to their advantage. He led his team through rocky outcrops, setting up ambushes that neutralized enemy soldiers efficiently. His strategy was simple but effective: confuse the enemy, divide their forces, and strike decisively. Hours passed in a blur of movement, sound, and light. The humans and Veyari moved as one, a coordinated force of intelligence and skill. Finally, they reached the central facility. Zarina's team had disabled the outer defenses, opening a path for Elias and his strike team. The building was heavily fortified, but the path was clear. Inside the facility, Zarina's engineers worked quickly to secure the energy core. Elias positioned his team at key points, covering entrances and neutralizing any threats that appeared. The rogue faction was caught off guard. The combination of human tactics and Veyari technology was overwhelming. Then, a new challenge emerged. An enormous energy turret activated within the facility, its beams sweeping the room with deadly precision. Elias assessed the situation instantly. "We need to shut it down from the control panel," he shouted. A small team moved with him, dodging energy blasts while racing toward the panel. Every second was critical. Zarina joined them, guiding the engineers as they bypassed security protocols. The control panel sparked and hummed under their hands. Elias felt a surge of hope. This was a moment where strategy, courage, and teamwork combined. One coordinated action and the turret would be disabled. As the turret powered down, alarms blared. Enemy reinforcements were approaching rapidly. Elias glanced at Zarina. "We need to finish this now." The team moved as one, clearing the remaining resistance and securing the facility. Blaster fire echoed, energy shields flickered, and the rogue faction fought fiercely. But human ingenuity and Veyari precision proved unstoppable. Elias led a final push, breaking the enemy lines and forcing a retreat. Outside, Zarina activated the energy core, restoring control to the Veyari. The rogue faction's forces scattered, unable to regain dominance. The planet was safe, and the vital energy reserves were secured. Elias and Zarina stood side by side, surveying the battlefield. Dust and smoke filled the air, but the mission was complete. Elias allowed himself a rare smile. "We did it," he said, his voice steady but filled with relief. "Humans and Veyari side by side. That's what makes the difference." Zarina's eyes softened. "You taught me that courage isn't just about fighting. It's about thinking, adapting, and trusting those around you. Humanity, you inspire more than you know." Elias felt a profound sense of accomplishment. He had faced countless battles, but this one was different. It was not just about victory. It was about protecting life, fostering cooperation, and proving that determination and intellect could overcome overwhelming odds. As the sun set over Therion II, painting the sky with shades of orange and purple, Elias reflected on the mission. Humans had a unique ability to adapt, to improvise, and to persevere even when hope seemed distant. And in moments like this, standing with Zarina and her people, he understood why humanity could make a difference across galaxies. Zarina looked at him with a mixture of respect and gratitude. "I will never forget what you've done," she said softly, "just as I never forgot the day you saved me on Therion." Elias nodded, humbled. "We're stronger together," he replied. "Humans, Veyari, anyone willing to fight for what's right. That's the legacy we leave behind." The team gathered for a moment of rest, tending to minor injuries and assessing the facility. Engineers worked to repair damage and soldiers reinforced defenses to prevent future attacks. Elias took a quiet moment to look at the horizon, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also the satisfaction of accomplishment. In that moment, he realized that heroism was not always about grandeur or recognition. It was about choices, courage, and the willingness to act when it mattered most. A single human or a single alien could make a difference, but together, they could change the fate of worlds. As night fell over Therion II, Elias and Zarina prepared to report their success to the Veyari Council. The mission was over, but the bond between human and alien had strengthened, built on trust, courage, and shared experience. They knew that challenges lay ahead, but for now victory was theirs, and hope had been restored. And in the quiet of the command room, Elias thought of the past, the day he had saved Zarina, the choices he had made, and the lives that had been touched because of them. That single act had set in motion events that now stretched across the stars, proving that humanity's courage and determination could inspire change in ways he had never imagined. The battle for Therion II was won. But the journey was far from over. The energy facility on Therion Siku was quiet now, the hum of the restored energy core filling the halls. Elias Mercer and Zarina surveyed the aftermath of their mission. The rogue faction had been pushed back, their forces scattered across the planet. The Veyari soldiers were reinforcing the area, and engineers worked to repair damages. For a moment it seemed as though victory was complete, but Elias had learned long ago that in war, nothing was ever truly over. His instincts told him danger could return at any moment. He scanned the horizon through the observation window, watching the rogue ships retreat. Then sensors picked up a new fleet entering the system, large, sleek vessels moving with precision. "What is that?" Zarina asked, concern flickering in her violet eyes. Elias's brow furrowed. "Not the rogue faction. These ships, they're different. Better organized, faster than anything we've faced here." As the fleet drew closer, communications picked up a broadcast. A human voice spoke clearly, authoritative and calm. "This is Commander Ralston of the United Earth Fleet. We received word of the situation on Therion II. We are here to assist." Elias exhaled, a mix of relief and surprise. Humans, his own people, had come, but in larger numbers than he expected. What made it remarkable was that these were former soldiers from conflicts long ago, some of whom had fought alongside him in distant wars. Stories of human bravery, intelligence, and fairness had spread across the galaxy, inspiring even former enemies to cooperate for a common goal. Zarina looked at him amazed. "Your species, it inspires loyalty and trust even among those who once fought against you?" Elias nodded. "Humans have a way of earning respect through action, not words. We fight when necessary, but we also protect, lead, and inspire others. That's why they came." The new human fleet joined the Veyari forces, coordinating quickly and efficiently. Elias took command alongside Zarina, devising a plan to secure the planet fully and prevent any resurgence of the rogue faction. They combined human strategy with Veyari technology, creating a force that was precise, adaptable, and nearly unstoppable. The next few days were intense. The rogue faction, realizing they were now outmatched, attempted scattered attacks. But human tactics, adaptive, unpredictable, and daring, combined with Veyari engineering, neutralized every attempt. Elias led small strike teams to intercept key enemy positions, using terrain and timing to outmaneuver the opponents. During one critical moment, Elias and Zarina faced an ambush. A rogue faction commander had set a trap, anticipating their moves. But Elias, reading the situation carefully, turned the ambush against the attackers. Using improvised barricades, coordinated strikes, and human intuition, they defeated the commander's forces without heavy casualties. Zarina watched him in awe. "You always seem to know what comes next," she said. "How do you do it?" Elias shrugged lightly. "Experience, observation, and a willingness to act when needed. Humans are good at adapting to unexpected situations. We don't panic. We analyze and respond." As the days passed, the rogue faction's morale weakened. Former enemies, inspired by the humans' courage and fairness, began to question their leaders. Some even defected, joining the combined forces to protect the planet rather than destroy it. Elias's presence had not only led to tactical victories, but had sown the seeds of change. Finally, the rogue faction's last stronghold was neutralized. The planet was secure, and the energy reserves were fully restored to Veyari control. Elias and Zarina stood on a cliff overlooking the city, watching as repair crews restored infrastructure and civilians returned safely to their homes. "You did it again," Zarina said softly. "Not just with your skills, but with your humanity. You inspired others to fight for what's right, not just for themselves." Elias smiled faintly. "We did it together. Humans, Vayari, and those who chose to do the right thing. That's what makes the difference." Zarina nodded, her eyes reflecting admiration and gratitude. "You saved more than a planet. You saved hope. You've reminded everyone here that courage, loyalty, and wisdom can overcome even the greatest challenges." As night fell on Therian Su, the stars above mirrored the victories below. Elias reflected on the journey from the day he had saved Zarina years ago to the battles they now faced together. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but he knew that when humans stood for what was right, they could inspire change, protect lives, and unite even former enemies. And somewhere among the stars, the bond between human and alien had grown stronger, proving that courage, compassion, and cleverness could create a lasting impact. The battle was won, but Elias and Zarina knew that their work was not finished. The galaxy would always have threats, but they had shown that together humanity and its allies could face anything. With Therian II secured, Elias and Zarina returned to the command ship. The mission had tested every skill they possessed, every ounce of courage and intelligence, but they had succeeded. The rogue faction was defeated and the energy reserves were fully restored. Yet even in victory, Elias felt the weight of responsibility. The galaxy was vast and dangers were always near. Zarina stood beside him in the observation deck, her eyes thoughtful. "Captain Mercer," she said softly, "I have been meaning to tell you something. That day you saved me on Therian. It was not just a moment of personal survival. It shaped my life, my choices, and even the destiny of my people." Elias listened quietly, humbled. He had always believed that humans could make a difference through courage, loyalty, and ingenuity. But hearing it confirmed in this way struck him deeply. "You see," Zarina continued, "if you had not acted, I would have fallen. The rogue faction might have won later conflicts, and countless lives could have been lost. That one act, your act, echoed across years and galaxies. And now you've done it again." Elias shook his head. "I only did what anyone with a sense of duty would do. I never expected recognition, only that the right thing would be done." Zarina smiled. "That is what makes humans remarkable. You act without expectation, and yet your actions inspire, protect, and change the course of history. I have seen it, and now I am living it alongside you." They stood together in silence for a moment, looking at the stars. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a connection forged through shared danger, mutual respect, and the knowledge that they had saved lives together. "Will you stay?" Zarina asked quietly. "With us, I mean. Your presence, your leadership. It has made a difference here, more than I can say." Elias thought for a moment. He had traveled across countless star systems, faced unimaginable dangers, and seen the best and worst of humanity and alien civilizations alike. But here, with Zarina and the Vayari people, he felt a sense of purpose deeper than any he had known. "I think, yes," he said finally, "I will stay for now. To help, to guide, and to ensure that what we've fought for endures." Over the following weeks, Elias worked with Zarina and the Vayari leaders to strengthen planetary defenses, train new recruits, and improve communication networks. Human strategy and insight were combined with Vayari technology, creating systems that were efficient, resilient, and capable of responding to any future threat. Zarina often accompanied him, and together they devised plans, trained soldiers, and discussed ways to maintain peace and stability. Their partnership grew stronger, built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared vision for a safer galaxy. One evening, as they watched the twin suns set over the repaired city, Zarina spoke softly. "Do you remember, Captain Mercer, the day you saved me? I have never forgotten it. It is why I am here today, why we succeeded, and why my people can thrive. That single moment, it created this future." Elias smiled, a sense of humility and pride washing over him. "I remember, and I am grateful to have the chance to make a difference again and to see the impact it has had. Humanity is capable of great things, not just through strength, but through courage, wisdom, and compassion. That is something I will always believe in." Zarina reached out and placed a hand on his arm. "Then let us ensure this future continues, together." And in that moment, Under the glowing light of Tharion the Sega's twin suns, human and alien understood something profound: that courage, empathy, and partnership could transcend species, conflicts, and even time. What had begun as a single act of bravery years ago had blossomed into a lasting legacy, a bond that would endure across worlds, a testament to the enduring strength of humanity. Elias knew that the galaxy would always face challenges, but he also knew that wherever humans stood for what was right, they could inspire change, protect life, and unite even those who were once enemies. And with allies like Zarina, hope would continue to shine across the stars. As night fell, and the first stars of evening appeared, Elias and Zarina looked out over the city, ready to face whatever future challenges awaited. They had proven that one human, guided by courage and intelligence, could change the destiny of worlds, and that bond, forged in trust and action, would never be broken. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers yet also full of possibilities, and humanity, through bravery, ingenuity, and the simple choice to act for others, would always leave a mark that echoed across the stars.